Well, thank you, Sarah. And she was pretty modest when she was talking about certification to become a firefighter. We know, all of us, we enjoy obviously being here, taking part in, gatherings of this nature and stuff. And we all have our professional lives, as what we do for a living. But we also, on the side, we see many people serving, friends and communities in many different ways. And many times a lot of that stuff is just, people don't really recognize that for what it's really worth. So thank you, Sarah. I'm gonna put that little fire truck to good use over here. So
That said, I have a little jar here of maple syrup. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to pick a name off of this sheet. And actually, we are going to take Larry Bulber here because he is not going to be here tomorrow. So there we go, Larry Bulber.
Thank you, Bill. Which, well, I love maple syrup. It's a good excuse to have pancakes for dinner. I've got a gift here somewhere. Here it is. Now, it's not an apple, but it is in an apple bag. And it tells a story about that journey that Buffalo took. It shows that they came from the Great Water, the Great Lake. They came from the rice, where the food grows on the water. Also in this pictograph, there's connections between their minds and their hearts. And it represents that they're of one mind and one spirit. And they come together on behalf of their community. So this pictograph reflects that journey. It reflects the return of the Chief Buffalo Pipe. And it signifies to us that the journey still continues. Scott Lee.
Thank you very much. It's a beautiful t-shirt. A pair of antlers that a friend of mine gave to me a few years ago because he knew I was a hunter and I do traditional bow hunting. And these are used typically out in the woods to rattle. You rattle these out in the woods, and during the rut it attracts bucks, or at least you hope that it attracts bucks. These were taken from a mule deer in Wyoming by my good friend that I work with. His name is Zach. And I've used them for a few seasons, and now I'd like someone else to use them if they would like. Or you could either use them to rattle deer in, or you could use them as ornamentation, or whatever you would like to do. The string comes off. Mary Robb.
Thank you. I'll have to put these down for a second. I was kind of embarrassed to put my item on the table because it's the worst part of all, but this was a very important product to my Irish ancestors. It's a potato. I'm sorry whoever gets this. But in the 1840s, my ancestors left Ireland because these just weren't growing. And they decided to bring their 6 children to America. So they got on a boat with their 6 kids and started a very long journey. And they died on the boat. The parents died. And the 6 orphans came to their nearest relative here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. And those 6 children grew up here, and that's the beginning of how I ended up here. So.
This will be for my French fries. I'm good with that. Oh, goodness, now.
iPad here?
No iPad this year, no. Okay, some of you will know this, some of you will not, but this last year when I did the gift exchange, it's because of a hobby that I have. And this hobby happens to be with gadgets and gaming. Okay, so I continued on the tradition. I figured I gotta do some gadgets and gaming. But I have a confession, I have quit gaming almost a year now. Don't ask me why, but I gave up gaming. So now I'm into these gadgets. And the gadgets have gotta be the latest iPads, and of course, the latest phone, the Galaxy 2, and I've just heard that the Apple Air is coming out or something like that. I'm gonna have to check. So, with that being said, sometimes you get small gadgets and when you got clumsy thumbs, it doesn't work so well. So what I've done here, I got a stylus for somebody, okay? So hopefully it's somebody with thumb issues like I have. But if that doesn't work, there's always these earbuds so you can listen to your music and not have to listen to me, okay? All right, now for the drum roll. Did I pick anybody?
Yeah, right now.
Okay. Anybody not going to be here tomorrow? Should I pick you? No. Cindy Stiles. Are you in? There you go. You can use earbuds.
I grew up in Pennsylvania. I grew up in a town called King of Prussia. It's outside Philadelphia. And Valley Forge Park was a big part of my growing up. From when I was a kid, we would do kite flying and snow, just sledding and stuff down hills, to when I was in high school. I just came back from my 45th high school reunion. And we drove around there, a bunch of us drove around there, and we were telling stories about what we had done in there, and some of which were really funny, I didn't remember, some of which were not so funny, and I wish that they had not remembered. And so we were, but the thing about Valley Forge Park to me is that it's more than just a national park and a national heritage site, but it has a very personal thing for me. And so what I brought today is something that I got there at the park. It's a hat. I'm also an archaeologist, so this looked like something that would be appropriate for people to wear. So, just pick someone. Najim Hadari. Najim Hadari. There you go.
Ooh.
Probably you may have heard me talking in morning. I'm from Persia, present day Iran. Just a little bit history about myself related to this quilt here. Iran or Persia, as some of you interested in history, it has a long history. And its country like the United States, diverse culture. We have 7 ethnic minorities that form the population. Eventually they managed to establish what's called the Ottoman Empire. The Ashwai tribes, when the Ottoman Empire was established, there was a war between the Persians and the Ottomans. The Ashwai tribes being Turkish tribes there was a possibility it would take sides of the Ottomans. So the king of Persia exiled Ashwais 1,500 miles southeast by the Persian Gulf. So that's where we went down there, and we settled down in that area. By way of our life, carpet weaving, and also the lifestyle in the form of the valley cultures, horses, sheep herding. Nowadays the lifestyle has changed, it's more, and also these used to be decoration on horses. They were known for their horses, horseback riding. Now the lifestyle has changed, it's now these type of carpets, it's a quilt, is used more for decoration, maybe in living room areas. And I thought this, I like myself history a lot. When I read the history of this country, especially the Native Americans. And I thought this quilt might be some similarity to the quilts I've seen in this country of the Native people. So I was happy to bring this along.
Kelly Hamilton?
Kelly Hamilton?
Last year during the listening session, I think I gave away one of my own CDs, which at the time had been nominated for a Native American Music Award. It actually was nominated for 4 Native American Music Awards. And I went out to New York, I took my daughter, and I took one of my friends from high school, and my adopted mom from Madison, who's a Menominee elder, with me out to New York, and I actually won Best Folk Recording of the Year. So I brought home a Native American Music Award. And anyway, thank you. Super excited. My album was called Spirit of a Woman. It was really kind of an inspiration, inspired piece, mostly by the interactions that I've had in my life with Native women and how much they have really shaped who I am. And so my second album is called Renditions of the Soul, and I haven't finished it, so otherwise I'd be giving that away. Renditions of the Soul is really kind of an album that is decorated with music that is maybe a little bit darker and perhaps a little deeper than my first album. And so it kind of touches on those really sensitive areas for many of us in our lives, whether it be in our personal relationships or it being kind of our inner battles. And so Renditions of the Soul is an album that'll be out in April. But yesterday we had the wonderful pleasure of, I should say 2 days ago, of listening to Wade Fernandez. Wade Fernandez and I were both our Native American Music Award winners, so you guys had a very special treat. I know Wade is going on a European tour. I'm totally jealous. And this, I believe, is his 3rd European tour, so he's spending a lot of time overseas. But this year, Wade and I were nominated in the same category in the Indian Summer Music Awards, which Wade is one of my inspirations. Bill Miller and Wade Fernandez, both very powerful male musicians, both from the Menominee community, or not both from the Menominee, both from Indian country, and both truly spectacular. So I'm just wanting to share a little bit of my passion. Music is my other form of medicine, so. Melissa Cook? Nope. Andy Folzer?
Thanks, Kelly. My gift I brought is an apple from Appleton, born and lived in Appleton all my life. That's not the whole reason I thought of it, but that was one of the last reasons I thought of it. My main reason I thought of an apple is when I was younger, when I was growing up, we always had apple trees and pear trees in our backyard. My grandparents always had apple trees, so whether it was at our own house or my grandparents' house, we'd always pick apples, and my mom would make applesauce and can it to eat throughout the year, and apple pies that we'd freeze. Have at random times in the spring and summer. And now even still to this day, we have about a dozen fruit trees planted up near our deer hunting land in each fall. They're just starting to produce fruit now, so just something, one of our family traditions that we partake in each fall. So.
Okay.
So I kept forgetting to bring this down and put this here, but since we have no more names on the list, and then Rosie said, well, Tom, where's your gift or exchange? And I said, well, it's up in the room. I don't want to, if we run out of names, it's at the end of the day. And I thought, well, I'll just give this to Melinda. And so I ran up and just got that. So I want to give it, even though you might have already gotten the list or a gift. So here's this thing. You can go ahead and open it up. I'm an artist. My mom forced me to be an artist at the age of 4. She decided that each of the kids in our large Catholic family would each have a profession and an apostle's name that went with it in some warped Catholic world. That's how it works. And so I was St. Thomas the artist, apparently. I don't know how that worked out. Thomas was a doubter and all this, but so I do block prints. I normally watercolor paint, and again, I've been doing that my whole life. But I've gotten into block prints, and carve a block, print it, and then paint it. And this pine cone, which I did last Christmas, I did a couple hundred of these and put them out to family. I'm cheap, so I don't buy gifts. My kids, my wife, they all get a card, and all my friends. And so this particular pine cone is in California, it's called the digger pine. And that's a pejorative word. It rhymes with another word that's pejorative. And Indian people, particularly in California, dig like a lot do, you know, for hunting and for gathering particularly. And that pine is a pine, it's a funny pine. It acts like it wants to be an oak tree. It doesn't, you know, pine trees go straight up, that's what a conifer will do, it gets up. Oaks do a different thing, they spread out and they get all weird and funky as they try to get into different places of light. And the pine, which has now been changed in California officially to the gray pine, to take care of it not being called the digger pine anymore, tries to think like it's an oak tree, and it's a weird looking tree. It puts out branches and it can conform in all kinds of places, and it lives in very poor soil. So it's a very unique thing, but its pine nuts are some of the best and well sought pine nuts. And they're hard to get out of the cone, but if you use fire, you can pop them right out, which is a Native American, knowledge base in California. And so that's how it got the name the digger pine, because Indian people use it and prize it, although everyone else thought of it as a trash species. So it gets hacked, it gets thrown out, it has very little commercial value, it doesn't make good lumber, its boards are always twisty, but it has its value. And so with that, I also last year, I'm not good with the words and poetry, but I took a hand at poetry and I got a poem there that went with the card, which I won't bother you with, but it came with a poem. So that's what that is for you.
Thank you, Tom.
So if I could
This is right here.
pick the basket, that's not I wanted the sage.
The sage is right there.
Oh, okay.
And that's with some maple butter, maple candies, and
Okay.
raw rice.
Excellent.
All right, good trade. Thanks, Tom. I'll have to add that to, Tom had sent, with our last contract, when we were closing things out on a professional level, you had sent me a note, and also in that note was another picture that you had done, and I do have it tagged up on my, by my desk, so I do see that all the time, and the pine cone will go next to that. I appreciate it, thank you.